Good evening, friends, and you are watching Weekend at 5 with me, Navdeep Kaur Marwa. A look at the headlines of the day today. There have been 15,540 new community cases of COVID 19 in New Zealand today. Unfortunately, there have been two more deaths today, which have been announced by the Ministry of Health. Also, there are 952 people in hospital due to COVID 19. Moving on, giving a sigh of relief to the Kiwi motorists, the cabinet announced today that they've agreed to reduce fuel excise duty and road user charges by 25 cents per litre for next 3 months. Also, all public transport fares will be halved for the next 3 months. Moving on to another news, former US President Barack Obama has said that he has tested positive for COVID 19. Another unfortunate news is coming for the Indian diaspora from Canada, where five Indian students have been killed in a road mishap. Indian High Commissioner to Canada, Ajay Bisaria, confirmed today that two have been also injured and were hospitalized in addition to the five people who were deceased in the incident. Now, moving on to our interview section. We all know the cost of living is at its highest in the New Zealand if we look at the recent past. Be it the groceries, fuel, or property, everything is reaching the skyrocketing. We have today with us Rupinder Kaur of Century 21 Dhatt and Company Limited to tell us about the impact of inflation, the new lending rules, and more about on the property and especially on the first home buyers. Welcome to the show, Rupinder.
Hello to all the listeners of the Indian Weekender. I hope you had a good day today.
Yes. How are you, Rupinder?
I'm very well, thank you.
Yeah, Rupinder, to begin with, we all know that cost of living is increasing in New Zealand. Be it the groceries, be it fuel, and also property. So, in your experience, is it the first time that you have witnessed such an inflation in property prices?
We've seen the properties, they never go down. I think it's a myth. It's not the myth, it's the reality. You always make profit from the properties. But in the last few years, I would say four or five, the properties going up steadily. But definitely since the COVID hit, they've taken a really big leap, and the properties were going really out of normal first home buyers. It was out of their reach, and everybody was like fighting. It was like a survival game. Yeah, I need this, I need that. Yeah, that is right. It's really getting hard to take a step on that property ladder.
Yeah. So tell me one thing. Is it due to the government rules or is it because of the inflation? What are the reasons that you find is are most likely for the prices of houses to go?
The inflation is the one, yeah. And because of the COVID, I would believe that the people had that extra money in their pocket because they weren't going on holidays, they weren't spending, on other stuff. People were staying home, so it was getting easier for them to have that deposit towards their house, and that's why everybody kind of like jumped into property market and to get their first family home, and that could be the reason.
Yeah. So tell me, what are the big hurdles that you see today that a person, suppose I want to buy a first home, what do you think are the biggest hurdles that I would face?
The biggest hurdle is the deposit. And since December, there's been a little bit change in the property market. It's not the same what we saw last year.
Mhm.
It has taken a little dip. The main reason is could be the lending criteria that the bank just changed, and they're really strict with their credit history, what they're spending on, especially like going takeaways, coffees, and all those things, which I think is not really right. So just last few days they've changed it back.
Mhm.
So they're going to bring some easement in those. They're not looking that deeply into what you're spending on. So the deposit is the big thing because with the existing houses, a first home buyer needs 20% deposit, and
Yeah.
I think that is a big ask.
Right. So, as somebody who has seen the property market, and what are your advice to somebody who is right now looking to buy a property?
The first home buyers, if you're looking to buy a property, I would suggest rather going directly to the bank, go to a mortgage broker, because they can present your case in your favor. They can
Right.
present what you need, what paperworks you need, and all that. Um, it doesn't cost you to get a mortgage broker. So I would say go and see the mortgage broker first.
Right.
How much
And
can you? Yeah.
right. And if you talk about the property, is it increased in entire Auckland or entire New Zealand? Are there particular areas where you have seen more price increase recently?
Yes, definitely. The areas which were kind of like not very popular 2 years ago, that's where we've seen a big jump. Like a Papakura, that's seen like nearly 40% jump in a price increase. Like before, it wasn't a very preferable. So places like that. But throughout New Zealand, yes, there has been an increase, but not at that percentage.
Right. And if you talk about Auckland, which are the areas where you see the highest, people trying to get their home most? The demand is
Uh, yeah,
maximum.
we get buyers. They're looking everywhere. All they ask is that it should be affordable, where they can afford. Yeah, there's no particular area now. They wherever they can find, the options are open. They say anywhere in Auckland. They are even willing to go on the outskirts as well.
Right. So if you talk about the price right now, what will be an average price of a say three-bedroom house
It
minimum?
depends where you're looking. Again, if you go really central, that's definitely going to be over 1 million. But if you look in a South Auckland, that's still affordable. You can get something to 800 onwards for three-bedroom house with a little bit of space, a courtyard.
Mhm. Right. And also, I wanted to ask you something. We all know the government announced one of residency, which means a lot and lot people would get residence say next 1 year. So, do you think that would also have an impact on the property market? Because as we all know, especially we Indians, as soon as we get residency, we all want to buy a house. So, do you think the market will change more, say next 1 year?
Um, I believe so. That is definitely make the demand higher, and yeah, it will affect it.
Right. And so tell me one thing, also if talk about as you said that the person should look at for the mortgage broker, what are the other things that you would advise a first home buyer to do before they go out and venture for their property?
The first thing is that they should have a little bit of deposit, and buyers they can use their Kiwi Saver, and the mortgage broker are the right people to advise them. So once that is sorted, they should see where they want to invest. If it's a young family, what schools they want to send their kids, and closer to work, I would say as well. So start looking in those areas and get in touch with few real estate agents who can help them find advice, and that ticks most of their boxes.
Right. And also, do you think they right now the construction is going on in full swing in many parts of Auckland? So is that also a reason that we don't see big houses now? We have this duplex kind of the property market. The structure is also changing.
Yes, it is. There are a lot of new builds that's coming up, but that's on hold because of the shortage of supply, taking longer than it expected.
Mm.
But the trend is changing because that comes to affordability.
Right.
We all want to have a big house. We all want to live on a big section, but it just comes to, yeah, that's the thing. It's not the trend is changing. We all like that, but affordability is the main reason that people are building duplexes. Yeah.
Right. So do you think that would be the trend moving on? Because I've seen, like, I stay in South Auckland and I see a lot of housing being rebuilt, and there are four houses in one place where there used to be one big house, or there are four buildings coming up. So how the whole structure is changing?
It is changing. I'm not sure that's going to be the trend. People prefer to have a standalone, their own driveways, but yeah, you could say that in this era that is the trend, but I don't know how long that's going to, because it's causing a lot of trouble with the car parks.
Yes,
The streets
exactly.
getting really chaotic. It's not safe for the kids.
I think we have lost Rupinder. We'll try to reconnect. Rupinder, can you hear us?
Yes, I can hear.
Yeah. Yes.
Yeah.
So you were saying something about the parking.
The parking is a big issue when people are building 4 or 5 houses where one used to be. So I don't. I don't believe it's a trend. It's just the demand in today's market. That's what, yeah, leading it to that.
Yeah. And the last question before we end the discussion would be, what do you think the government should be doing to stabilize the property market and make it more affordable to first home buyers and more attractive to them? Because everybody dreams of having a house, but somewhere they can't right now.
Yeah. I believe if they really want everyone to step on that property ladder, to be more lenient with the first home buyers,
Mhm.
support them, give them some advantage or something like that. And that's all we need. Yeah. They need support. Asking a first home buyer a 20% deposit is not good. It's not realistic, I believe. I feel for them when they come and they like the house, but the deposit they can't afford, it really hurts. So I would say they got to be very lenient with the first home buyers here.
Right. So probably at 10%, I think that should help.
That could help, but that's in today's market, it's only with the new builds. With any existing house, they need 20%.
Right, right.
Yeah.
I hope things get better and more people can afford house in New Zealand as they dream to be.
Yes,
Thank
yeah.
you so much for your time, Rupinder. It was pleasure talking to you.
Yeah. Thank you, Navdeep, for having me. Thank
Thank
you.
you.
Okay.
So that was Rupinder, a property expert, telling us what are the challenges that first home buyers today find in New Zealand and what the government should be doing to help them. For all the latest news, keep watching indianweekender.co.nz.